Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm back again. I hope you guys enjoyed the last show with that I did. I'm hoping y'all did enjoy it because I sure did, as I always do every week. This week, as you know, before I got started with this previous show, I was kind of weighed down by things I've been hearing, but you will hear me speaking very boldly now, even more about certain things because now I get it. When you get the veil of Eve works two ways, it controls two things. And when you know that the perception of women and men are both literally the sex and gender of a male and a female are both affected by the curse of Eve. And to this day, and that's what my first book technically is going to be detailing, addressing where the roots of abuse comes from and how the Christian church has their hand in it. And because we've been so blinded by these veils, we don't even see the damage that we've caused all like throughout life and how God is yet now holding us accountable. Hey, Dennis. Hi, Karen. And so that's the first one. And tonight we're going to be basically pulling back the veils of the end times right now, and what is going on right now is deep. Some of the things that a friend of mine has sent has been like, what I had no them see which one am I looking for? There's one where, you know what I'm going to have to do, because I don't, for whatever reason, when I'm on here, it won't allow me to upload pictures actively when I'm actually chimed in like this. I don't know why, but they actually found dead fish in the Dead Sea. Now, mind you, when you put dead and sea together, that don't sound like life. That sound like dead. You know what I mean? So basically, nothing living has been able to live in the Dead Sea for decades, apparently for centuries. And they've actually found fish in that water for the first time, like ever. And a friend of mine, my sister Janie, she sent me some pictures of it last week, and I'm so thankful for it. I was so looking forward to talking today about it. Let me see if I can pull up the picture and see exactly which one it is. Is this it? Yeah, where they actually put, we at the Dead Sea Revival Project are advocating for a natural solution for increase, because the water levels, I believe, have dropped drastically at the Dead Sea. I think there was 420. Let me see. I think it was 420 feet below sea level. The waters there dropped, which is actually coincides with some Bible prophecy. So is anyone on here who chimes in, who knows this stuff? Hey, Janie, how you doing? Does anyone on here who chimes in who knows this stuff? Please feel free to let me know. If you have any information about anything I'm saying more, to add on to what I'm saying, I'm totally like open. Like I said, we're all learning together. I am not even a Bible prophecy kind of person. I listen to, others, things that just resonate in my spirit, though I don't, know a lot about it, but I'm learning. And so I do appreciate you giving me the opportunity to learn with you, and those who send me things, I totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, Janie, thank you so much. Hey, George, how you doing? I appreciate it because, like I said, we're all learning together. These are the days we're living in. One of the parts of the word actually that God had given me the other day, as I mentioned it in the first recording, the heaviness that I've had because of, like I said, we've been unveiled politically, and we've been unveiled in our financial community. And now it's time for an unveiling in the religious community and the truth behind a lot of stuff, y'all. When I say a lot of stuff, I mean a lot of stuff. And I actually covered, kind of hit on certain things in the very first main teaching for Thursdays. And so, yeah. So anyway, understanding that, be prepared that there's going to be an unveiling, literally unveiling of the Christian church and our very roots, exposures coming from the Catholic Church, the Christian church, deep exposure that technically the Christian church, in some ways, have basically been held captive by some of this stuff. We didn't really have much to say about it. This was basically being hijacked by a complete different deal. But at the same time, we neglected to see the heart of God, and we failed to recognize our error. And because of that, that's what's technically caused a lot of trouble over the years. But anyway, I do have the word written up, and I will be posting it on my website, and then trying to do what I can to promote that. But once you understand the unveiling of how this stuff is going to work, then you recognize the fact that the days we're in are like on point in times. Like, I can't even say that enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like on the steps. And one of the parts was talking about our current president, actually, and that his time is almost up. So I don't have a clue what the time span is, if you want to say that. There is a picture here. Let me look at this picture. I think my sister Janie and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago, where we brought up, here it is, the tribulation. And I have a picture here, but again, I can't submit anything when I'm on live air. So afterwards, I'll try to put all these pictures up in one post so that way you can see them. My sister Janie sent these to us so that we can share. And this was talking about the constellation. What is it called? The Revelation 12 sign was basically an astronomical, for astronomy, it was the alignment of stars for this one. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying all the other stuff I said to let you know that this whole pull back of the veil religiously, is real, y'all. This ain't no joke. God is literally unveiling everything. The truth that he is declaring had me all discombobulated. I was like, what? I told the first group this. I'm gonna tell you guys this. A few days ago, I went into prayer. When I started praying, I literally started speaking in tongues in Hebrew. I think me and my sister Janie was talking about this a few days ago. But I started speaking in Hebrew, and other languages started coming out, to the point where one of the words that came out, I actually took and looked it up, and it was an actual Indonesian word. Now, y'all, I barely know Spanish. I'm still learning English, okay? It's like, so this is not something that I can make up, okay? I don't even know where these words are coming from. So yeah, this stuff was on point. This stuff was real, and I did have a chance. I mean, I was so exhausted I could barely type. It was like my body was just like drained to the tilt. I could barely type out the words that I was getting, but I managed to get it done, and came back the second day and did more. And I'm still in alignment, just in case he needs to add more. And I think he might need me to add more. I'm not sure. But anyway, as soon as I get that done, I'll definitely post it on shakrita.com for all eyes to see. And I will take all flack because of it. And it is the truth, and it is the truth. And I'm all about getting my Father's people free. And no matter who has to get out the way so we can get free, then bring it on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that was one picture there, dealing with that. And basically, if that is true about last year being that astronomical sign and all that constellation lining up, that would again mean that we're definitely in that peaceful period of the tribulation. Now, we don't know, we get it, but that sign is really legitimate. And if the timeline is correct, then that's what that would mean. If not, then that timeline would basically mean we're getting ready to enter it at some time, and then a peaceful period to come up later on. But just wanted to throw that in there. Now, here's another one that I found out. Now, isn't this interesting? Last week when I was on the show, I got to bring this up. Several days up until last week's show, I kept seeing the Baldy in 2 Kings. I kept seeing that story where I think it was Elisha was going up to Bethel. He was on his way to Bethel. And all these young boys came around and was calling him. They were mocking him, and they were saying, Baldy, 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 Baldy. And they were basically just mocking him. And so what he did was, he was on his way, and he stopped. And all of a sudden, I guess he pronounced the curse on whatever. And then these bears came out, and it says 42 of the boys basically died mauled. They were mauled to death. Now, I know that that's just graphic and gruesome. Like, oh God, how can God do that? No comment about that. I don't know. The fact of it is, he was a man of God, that he was on a mission to do what God wants him to do. And these boys being unruly is really what everything in the Bible is symbolism. I want y'all to know that. Most of it in there is definitely, a lot of it's symbol. A lot of it has deeper, everything in there definitely has deeper meaning. Nothing is just ever surface with the Bible. I will say that I've learned since I've been reading it, and learning about God and his character is much deeper than what we portray. So it's not just, oh, God is like against kids. No, that's not, that's not what the story is about. But that does show an example of, the boys being unruly and God coming out. But here's the deal. The bears, right? The bears, right? Now, mind you, I've always been taught that the bears in the Bible, certain parts of the Bible has always meant something about Russia, right? That was kind of my mind. But I asked I'm very humble. If I don't know, I'll ask, right? So I asked, I'm like, hey, I put out a thing on my site last week, and I was like, hey, what does a bear mean in the Bible? Like, can I get some confirmation to see, make sure I ain't cray cray? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it mean? You know? So anyway, people responded to me and they were like, hey, that's Russia. Yeah, sister who she hadn't even chimed into the show that night, literally gave me the verse and scripture that I was reading from that night and said, this is that story. And then she began to tell me like, what? And mind you, she wasn't even in the show that night. She didn't chime on to the live feed. She has a problem chiming into the live feed. So you know that that was definitely God confirming something around that way. So all I'm saying is we need to keep our eyes open, because this thing with Russia, out of all the forces in the world, apparently, Russia is one who will give us a run for our money. And we know that Russia is pretty much what socialism, communist, they're a very strict, stringent country, very stringent. Not much to them as a country, but they're very stringent with what they have. And they're rebuilding themselves. I think at one point they were really down, and so now they have second to America when it comes to their military power. I personally think they probably have more military than we do, based on population. Considering we probably do more abortions than any other country, that would technically decrease our population in general, so therefore we probably won't have as much as China and all these other countries have, because we have things that just cut off life before we can even make him into a warrior, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when you see what Russia is and where they're at right now with this whole ordeal, you should also understand that Russia is also directly involved in the war in Syria. And, America's been over there and Russia's over there. They're defending, I can't remember the guy's name, but the ruler of Syria right now, so that Syria is not completely taken over by jihadists, which is the radical Muslim movement that's over there. And mind you, to the Muslim, this war is Aleppo. I want to say there's another word for theirs, but it's basically like their apocalypse. This is their apocalypse. So this is like their prophetic war. So as the Bible talks about an apocalypse at the end, or Armageddon, this is their kind of apocalypse. This is their fight. So this is why it's very important, that we understand how all these pieces fit together. Let me look at another one of my pictures here. Jane, you did a great job sending me all that stuff last week. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see, it says here, okay, is Russia creating the end times beast? I believe they are. I believe Russia is creating the end time beast. I really do. Okay, now look, this right here is look for, okay, this is a little thing here that now you have the eagle, I think represents America when you're reading the scriptures. And then the leopard, I think represented, where's that one picture at? Represented, it keeps saying that Russia, the bear, will rise to power again. Where's that one at? Talking about the leopard. Let me see if I can find it. The leopard represents, was it Britain? Rome? Something like that. I think that the leopard represents Britain, if I'm not mistaken, because the Brexit and everything is in there. So each one of these things have symbolism. I think they said Persia at one point was Germany. Is it Germany? Is that what the leopard represents? Germany? Ooh, the leopard represents Germany. That'll bring back memories. That's as y'all can tell, I'm learning as I go. Okay. That totally brings back memories. Like, what? Germany? The Nazi? Oh. Like, God help us, Jesus. We don't need another. Wow. This is too much. So anyway, okay. So now we know. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The Dead Sea. 420 meters below sea level. I wanted to get the exact amount. So that's like unusual for this Dead Sea over there. Like I said, to see fish in the sea and to have it drop so low is very much so unusual. Hey Sheila, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So that's like, wow, this is like literal things. It's making the Bible come to life. And like I said, the Bible's coming to life in such a way that, like I said, when Jesus returns, church, quote unquote, that we perceive it to be, y'all, it ain't going to be in existence. Point blank. What I've discovered and what God has shown me, like I said, when you remove these veils and you see how they work, okay, when you understand how that curse of Eve works, it always establishes a man at a place. Basically, it's almost like it's the person, man, then God. But God said that he's our head. So how can he get to our head if we have a man over us at that level? I'm not talking about government. that's different. And even when it comes to government, we have to understand what God is actually going to rule us with. When you look at Moses and you see how all that went back then, dealing with the tablets that were written, it's the law of God that rules us, and whoever he chooses that is reflective of God will be reflective of those laws that he chooses. So that's what really rules the land, is the laws. So the people we choose will be reflective of what we believe or don't believe. Okay, so we believe that, hey Monica, we believe that, what is it? There's some things called abortion is not right. Then we would, we're not going to want to vote for that. So the days we're going into dealing with these end times, and we understand the importance of how, things as far as political things go, it's very important that we understand that God is technically a political God. I mean, he's coming, Jesus is returning to be king, okay? King. Right now in the world, from what I understand, there may be more than two, but two that I know of, the country of Jordan, and I believe the country of, is it Egypt? Or the country of Jordan and Morocco. There's two more jurisdictions in the world that are actually ran by kings. And so in those particular countries, they have subjects. Everyone that's in that place becomes their kingdom. And so, you look at the King Arthur's court and all these things, back in the day, I love watching the different movies of King Arthur and the swordsman and all that cool stuff. I love that. Russell Crowe, I think, when he did the Gladiator and all that, all that stuff from back then. But when you see how those societies were structured, I want to say there's two, there may be more than two, but two that I know of that is in existence today. And one in particular is in the country of Jordan, which I believe is 95% peaceful Muslim, actually. And they're one of the only countries that's an ally with Israel and an ally with America, which I thought was interesting. I met someone from there and decided to do some research on it. But anyway, when you understand how these things that we're talking about when I do these shows, how distinct they are to the times we're living in, and why everything is so political. Why is everything just, what is it? Because politics run the core of the Bible. If you think about it, in the Old Testament, when before Saul was chosen to be king, if you remember correctly, God actually wanted to be the people's king. He said, I want to be your king. And they said, no. He said they basically wanted a man. So he gave them Saul. See, God represents law. God represents precept. That's why when those 10 commandments were written, like I said, those are the precepts of God. That's what God represents. He represents order, lines, boundaries. Humanity living in these boundaries, not to confine us, not to punish us, but to what? Protect us. See, I'm trying to paint a complete different perception of God for y'all. I want y'all running to him with your arms like this. Daddy, take me too. I want to go too. I want to go too. Change me. I want to make God look so good to you that all these lies that we've heard all of our life that has hurt us and dismantled us and disabled us just goes away. That I want them all to go away, because even though we're here in these last days and we're seeing all that we're seeing, I'm trying to build a better picture of God. And I'm also trying to refute some of these crazy things that a lot of us have been exposed to, and also try to understand every little thing. And that political stuff is very important. I always say this, and it's been in my spirit lately to encourage you guys with this. And as soon as I can, possibly maybe this weekend, I'm going to try to do a video, and just a few minute video, and just kind of encourage everybody. When you vote, don't vote per person. This is where the enemy's really punking us right now to be, hey, Rob, how you doing? This is where we're really getting hurt, seriously. It's because we're making this about Trump versus Hillary, or Trump versus Obama, or Trump. It's not about all that. That's foolishness. Truly it is. It's not about Republican against Democrat. First of all, when you look at our president right now that we have, and even the former president, when it comes to certain laws and things, because of the way the House is made up, you have the Congress and the representatives, you have some Republicans, some Democrats. Okay, but see, the former president was Democratic, and so he had both Democrats and Republicans. And what you'll find is not every Democrat went along with everything that he did. Neither did every Republican not go along with everything that he did. And the same with our current president being a Republican. And so there's not every Republican goes along with everything that Trump does. Neither does every Democrat. And sometimes the Democrats will go with what he does. So my point is, when you come to the people and really what everybody stands for, it comes down to the individual person and what they believe. See, I'm trying to regain our focus, because I feel like a lot of us have gotten so far. I've gotten off too. I'm not even gonna lie. I've gotten off too. And when you understand, like, the reason I'm bringing this up, dealing with the end time, so that you get what's happening. This is what we serve, a king coming back for a kingdom. This is why some of the things you're going to hear me say in the future, and even when I got to post on my page, is going to be a little bit disturbing, because it's like, it goes against everything that you've been taught and I've been taught. But when you understand how the curse of Eve works, man, there's a reason why the Bible doesn't mention the curse of Eve. Man knew exactly what he was doing, because if man can remain at a level of preeminence, that automatically leaves us seeking man for everything, seeking man for a word, seeking man to minister to me, seeking man to pray for me, which is the same concept of the Catholic Church. I'm giving away some what I wrote. I'm going to be posting it publicly. Nobody cares. So anyway, I'm going to say a little bit. So, okay, you got all this stuff. And so when you understand how the guise of all this stuff works up here, it leaves us subjected to something God never, ever created us to be subjected to. And if I'm wrong, why is it that when Jesus came, he said that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? That's, y'all, that's liberation right there. That's freedom. He put us here to live, to go and come as we please. Okay, that's freedom right there. That's liberation. He's broke some stuff. He broke some stuff. Okay, so now we understand that our body is the temple, right? You understand we serve a king. So what's happening now when it comes to this kingdom against kingdom, you have Christ being king, getting ready to come back for what? A kingdom. Okay, so who's gonna be in his kingdom? Well, it's supposed to be people, but right now we're looking a little thin because our minds are a little bit off. I'm just being honest. Especially if we've been raised up in the quote unquote Christian church. We really off. I'm seeing how we think is just so discombobulated, because we're so backwards with what God really wants. And so he's trying to come to put his head. So here's his head coming down. And he's like, okay, where's it going to land? Where can the Son of Man rest his head? Where can the Son of Man rest? And all of our stuff is. And so when he comes down, he's basically coming down, and we're stopping him. Man, we put people in places that God never put them. It's okay that we have leaders and everything. That's not what I'm saying. I think that's great, but this is, say, like I said, things have been hijacked way, way, way back when. And so now a lot of our beliefs are basically all intertwined with lies. And so these got to be removed, because it's like, hold up, when you see the nature of God and the fullness of God and really what he says in his word about us as people and what he did, even just looking at what he did in the old, okay, this is a king, y'all. So all this stuff, you got Russia, the bear, you got, like I said, the fish showing back up. You got the Muslims who are fighting in Syria under the impression that they're literally fighting their apocalyptic war. You have you got these people, the kingdom of Satan now speaking outright. I mean, I've never heard the name of Jesus so much. You know, there was a thing I posted on my page about, I think it was a former president that was basically doing a speech. I'm not knocking the president at all. I'm just telling you what the man said. And he basically said, you know, in the context of speech that he was speaking, it sounded feasible. But he basically said, you know, we don't need a Messiah. We need to get up and do something. And he's right. I do believe in being active and participant and everything like that. But if you kind of follow the speech a little bit more, you'll find out, you know, he was talking in another speech dealing with the government and how our minds are too small to basically govern ourselves, how we must be governed by another entity, another source. And then he talked about, you know, he uses the terminology of Messiah. But my point is, there's a lot of gods out there. That's why I'm bringing this up. It's not about this. Don't say that he didn't. I'm not trying to defend or refute anything. I'm just saying what was said. My point is, why is it all of a sudden now the word Messiah is coming up everywhere? Okay. The other day, or today, there was a, hey, Robin, how you doing? There was an interview with somebody was talking about Rihanna, and she had made a statement, no harm to Rihanna. I'm just, repeating what was said. I like Rihanna, some of her songs, I get it, but it doesn't change the fact of what she apparently said when she got up and gave a speech in Barbados or Jamaica, whatever, I think it was Jamaica, where her hometown is. And she basically made the reference of saying, you don't need Jesus. Jesus doesn't hear your prayers. What you need is basically, it was a declaration of Satan in her speech, right? And I'm like, whoa, my point is, if Jesus wasn't real, Why is everybody and their cousin brothers saying his name? Now you have Buddha. Let's just be frank. You got Buddha out there. He's look like he free for all, right? You got Hare Krishna. He's out there. He look like he might be a good pick for somebody. I'm just being for real. You have the Hindi gods. They the whole few of them. They look okay. Why don't you go over there? So why don't you go pick on somebody else? If Jesus was not who he says he is, and the Messiah holds no truth, then why, oh why would you constantly have to pick those names? That's all I'm saying. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care what they believe. I'm just making that plain to say the days we're living in, you guys, are different. They are different. I'm seeing things today that I've never seen before. You know, never seen this stuff ever in my life before. Today, things are much different, much different. So we must wake up. We must wake up. And like I said, if there's been an unveiling politically, and there's been an unveiling even in our financial area where we know the elite families, and we heard about George Soros and all these different things, and we also understand how things spiritually work. Don't you know that the unveiling of the church is going to happen before Jesus returns? I'm just saying it just like this. Don't you know whatever truth has been hidden from us, God himself knows, and he's using this time to unveil it? Because when you understand how the curse of Eve works, honey, please, ain't nobody gonna. When you get free from these two things up here and you can identify them, when I tell you life ain't the same, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I mean, you can be broke, down and out. Do you struggle? Absolutely. Do you still go through things? Absolutely. But it's like a joy that's unspeakable. You have no restraints. It's like I felt like all my life I was just like tied down like something, Now it's like there's no restraints. Like I'm free. I get the fellowship when I want. I get to go into somebody's building as often as or as little, if at all. It doesn't really matter. Like it's not all about all that when you get liberated, because then you put things into perspective. So I'm saying all that basically to say that the one thing that you can do in these last days to prepare yourself for what's coming is get liberated, my friends. Get liberated. Liberate your soul, my loves. Liberate your mind. For real, liberate your mind. Think differently. Thank God for the pastors and the different leaders that are out there, and the good ones that we love. And we love them. We love everybody, but some of them we know are genuine of heart and some are not, point blank. But regardless, we love them all, but it doesn't necessarily mean that God established a lot of stuff, that we have all grown to love. I'll put it to you this way. When I was several years ago, God gave me the word about being an apostle. He said, okay, initially I've called you to be an apostle. And I was like, okay. And he gave me the whole thing. And then lo and behold, I'm actually fulfilling and living out exactly what he told me to do way before I really understood. But I noticed the second time around this year, he said, okay, I want you to go public, and I want you to go with what I've called you to be. He said, but when it comes to what you tell them, he used the terminology pastor, and he said, I want you to go and I want you to tell them because that's what they need. And he basically said that's what the people need because that's what they know. And so because they need this is why I need you to say that you're a pastor for them. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I never understood why he said what he said, but there's a reason. There's a reason. But like I said, the Christian church has been hijacked on so many levels. It's ridiculous. But when Jesus returns, he's coming back. He's coming back for us who have pure minds. Pure mind. What's funny? I was attending an organization for a while, and while I was there, the pastor would always talk about a shifting. And so another place I would go to, they would always talk about shiftings and church as usual is over. And this has been in the body of Christ now for years, y'all. I'm not playing. Everybody's been like, church as usual is over. We can't do church. We're using the church no more. And so this whole thing, but no one's ever really come up with any other concept for church as far as how we think about it. It's the same thing. We got the building, we do this, we do this, we do that. Is anything wrong with the building? And that's not what I'm saying. Believe me, this thing goes deep up here, real deep up here. So anyway, understanding this now, how God works and how it's imperative that we understand what it means to be prepared, it all makes sense now. It doesn't matter if you're ready or not, change is here. And, it will basically take place before he returns. But when he returns for his reign, nothing as we know it will be, because it was never intended to be to begin with, to be quite honest with you. So it's interesting when you get to break down some stuff, and this stuff is unbelievable, what I've been discovering. So this is, the things that's hurt us the most is technically the form in which we've been raised up to believe is the essence of God and his spirit is in this building and all this stuff. That's just a pile of beans, because when he liberated a people, he liberated us when he was on that cross. Therefore, when that, ripped, the old temple ripped, his spirit went out from there, and it was never to be captured again. But yet man was so interesting of how he tied in the curse of Eve. Yes, this is interesting. But anyway, truth be told, the reason I'm bringing all this up is to liberate your mind as the days we're living in right now. Hey, Caesar, how you doing? To liberate your mind for the time that we're living right now. And hopefully you'll understand the importance of you voting. And hopefully you understand the importance of you voting for standard, not person. Not person. I personally have not liked everybody I voted for. And that's on both sides, the blue side and red side. Yes, I'm going public saying I vote for blue or red, because you have to know what you're voting for. Right now, to me, each side is just setting themselves up for crazy fall, because I know the red's going to go in and they're going to do the whole all the way down. And how many people over there is really going to be believing things that they really don't believe, but because they're red, they're going to vote for him. Satan knows what he's doing. He's punking us on so many sides right now, and we're not being wise. We're not being wise. We're basically being sheep led to the slaughter on all sides. And that's the same thing with the blue side. There you go. Do you really think just going in and going blue all the way down that they're not going to sneak in some red over there? Come on, guys. We have got to wake up. When it comes to voting, do your research. Don't just go in and do red and think that that's going to do anything, because it's not going to do anything. Like I always share this story. I have a friend, and he was actually getting ready to run for office in another city, a few cities away from me. Hey, cuz, how you doing, cuz Vivian? And when he was over there, he actually called and was like, hey, would you support me? He was pledging. He was trying to get money together to pledge to do his running. And I said, sure. So at first I asked questions, what are you running for? And he let me know the off thing was a Congress position. And then he said, I want to run for this. And then I said, well, what's your party? And so he told me he was actually going as a Democrat over there. I said, okay. I said, what are you? And so I started asking questions. What are your views on immigration? What are your views on education? What are your views on abortion? And I just started asking all these different questions. And you know what? He believed, like a lot of Republicans are known, for these things. What I'm saying is about standards, right? He believed on those lines. But yet he needed to run as a Democrat in those areas, because those areas you couldn't, what did he say? You can run as a Republican, but the chances of your winning was higher if you ran as a Democrat for those particular areas. So, he let me, and I was like, I know the guy, upstanding gentleman, very young man, engineer, I think he was going to A&M at the time, very fabulous young man, met his wife, beautiful family. They just had their first child, beautiful family. I love him to life and back. And haven't seen him really to have another sit down hangout with him, because we ended up moving to a different city. But nonetheless, my whole point for bringing all this up is, y'all, please be wise. Politics run deep in the Bible. They really do. Yes, there you go. I love America. There you go. And as an American citizen, we need to vote for precepts. Whatever you believe, let that be what you vote for. Don't just go in there and say, I don't like this guy. Because sometimes, and for me, when I've looked at this is not just Donald Trump, this is across the board. I'm looking at somebody, I don't like how he looked. And we'd be like, being real, what does the Bible say? Don't look at the outward appearance, but look at the heart. Now, I can't really see everybody's heart like that, but my point is, let's go a little bit deeper than the funky pictures they be having. Like, you're like, hey, boy, he looking crazy. It's like, but then maybe he might have a clip too, but maybe he believe in what you believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's like, maybe he's looking like this, but you know what? Maybe he's standing on what we believe. You know what I'm saying? He may not look like he's doing something, but maybe he really does believe what we believe. And so that's all I'm saying. So if you're believing, do I agree with abortion? No, some people do. If you do, then vote for the candidate that reflects what you believe. Don't get up in there and they be like, well, this is a war, it's all blue. Or this is a war, it's all the red. I'm like, y'all need to stop. Because this is going to get out of hand. We're not here for all that. We vote the way the Bible says. And even if you don't agree with everything the Bible says, that's between you and God. I'm not even trying to say that. Do I agree with what the character, do I agree with the characteristics of God? Yes. When you learn about the curse of Eve and how that works, and I get all that. But it doesn't mean that it refutes the relevance of the character of God that is technically, the majority of that book is written off of his character. Anything in there that is not reflective of his character, we know man did it. Let's just be honest. That's how you tell. Because with so many different versions, you better know the character of God. You better know what he can and cannot say. Because you can be running around here like a chicken with your head cut off talking about I got Jesus and be just crazy as a doornail. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm just being for real. So we have to learn the character of God. So when you understand that, when you're in that voting box, like I said, bam. Okay, this is what I believe and this is why. Make that very clear. So again, vote for what you believe. Know the candidate, not the party. Thank you, Sister Sheila. Preach it, girl. That's it. That's it. We got to know the candidate and not the party, because this is not about bashing another party. This is not. And I honestly, God really corrected me with this, because he's like, this is not about blue and green, whatever, blue and red or red. No, it's about precept, law. Vote your heart, your convictions, what you believe, people. Please don't get in there and make this, like I said, about a party thing, because that's foolishness. I'm not going to do it either. I'm going to be very, I'm going to sit down and detail everybody before I get in that box and really see who I'm voting for and really examine what I believe. I believe in life. I believe in pro-life. I believe in, laws, as far as good vetting laws dealing with immigration. That's a big deal. Making sure that we're having open borders to the point of, if people need to find refuge with us, that we can give them that refuge, but in a very orderly fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because one day as an American, we may have to get up out of here and go run somewhere. So we want somebody to take us in if we needed a safe zone. But there's an order to it, and I think that that's what the questions are with that, right? Morals count. There you go. Morals count. Morals count. We need to remember stuff like this. Let's not throw morals out the window for a darn color. Talking about Trump, and then you get up in there talking about Trump to death, and then you then went all red, and you then ended up voting for people that don't even believe what you believe in, because you are just Trump and red down to the flow, and then completely lost sight of what you're supposed to be doing. This is not about Trump and against Trump or for Trump. This is not about anybody. This is about precept, law. Moral. Thank you, Sister Shirley. Moral. Vote moral. As a believer, we're supposed to maintain that, as far as the Ten Commandments is concerned, keeping those things in our heart. Everything dealing with relationship is really what God's concerned about. Let's make that very clear. So anything that's, as far as protecting life, bringing order to others, don't give up the life of another to bring someone else in. That's wrong. According to the Bible, that is not right. We want to be able to have order. Like, how is it that I'm going to be over here at my neighbor's house, fixing up their house, doing everything for them, and then my house is going to pop? Order must come in, because if not, we get in trouble. And America's been through a lot, and our days of going through ain't over. It's just beginning, to be quite honest with you. But nonetheless, remember, politics and the Bible do go together. Our God is a king. Okay, Jesus is coming back to reign as king. And he is coming to rule over a kingdom, and he needs servants. And he said that all those who have his mind will rule and reign with him. So we have to remember this kind of stuff. So yes, we're the ones who he gave that level of dominion to, and it's time for us to take it. And how do we take it? In that box. We've been given that privilege. So please be sure to go out and vote when that time comes. And is there any other questions? And again, what I will do is a post. I will do a post on this, all these pictures that I'm looking at that my sister sent. I will do a post and put all those up there for y'all, so y'all can see them. But if there's nothing else, I'm getting ready to go and see you guys next week. Okay, let me see. Everyone, be sure and go vote. Yes, y'all. Be sure and remind me. Put it on my page. When did we start? Isn't it next? Is it Monday? Isn't it? Somebody said 4 days. It starts in 4 days. I'm assuming it's going to be on Monday. It starts. So I got to get my voter's guide and start looking at it, find something online. Tell you what, whoever out there finds a voter's guide or something, could you share it with the rest of us? Like, come to my page and share it. Or if you put it on your page, tag me in it so that I can see it. And that'll be maybe an easier way for a lot of us, so we don't have to do that search on our own. So if you find that information, to share that, please share it with me. I am totally open for it. Feel free to put it on my page so that I can see it, or even inbox it to me so that I can see the link, so that I can start doing my what is it, research for each candidate and be very prayerful. And again, it's all about the heart, y'all. It's all about the heart, and that's what God's looking at the end. So let's make sure we vote according to our heart and not according to what people like or don't like, because the media is this ugly piece of something right now that's making big deals out of little stuff, and it's just crazy what's going on and how many of us are being swayed by it to the right or to the left. And I've been swayed too, don't get me wrong, but lately God's been on like, hey, wait a minute, wake up now, you can't be going like that. It's like you need to get up and stop it. It's like it ain't a ball all that. Don't let that get you off track. So I'm hoping that a motivational speech helps you as well. All right, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yo, November 6th, is that when? Oh, that's the official date. Don't we start early voting? November 6th is the official date, isn't it? Which is Super Tuesday. When does early voting start? I think someone said it starts. The early voting is what I'm talking about. Research Adrian Bell for Conjure. Oh, she's your cousin. Oh, thank you, girl. I'm gonna have to look her up. I'm gonna look her up. Adrian Bell. Okay. I'm gonna have to look her. I'm gonna get a pen and write that down. Or it's gonna be on my page afterwards. I'm gonna look her up. Most definitely will do. It. Okay, yeah. So it does. It starts. I want to say, is it this week coming up? I thought someone said something about 4 days of early voting, but I don't know. I saw that somewhere on the internet. Y'all know how the internet can be, but I'm not sure. But I did see it. So I have no idea if it starts this week or next week. That I don't know. But anyway, keep me in prayer too, because I'm finalizing some things with, like I said, my book is in that process of. Okay, it's 10/20. Okay, it's the 25th. Okay, thank you, Sheila. It may be on the 25th. She says she thinks the 25th. We can confirm that if somebody can, maybe get off. Maybe we can confirm that. And again, whatever information y'all find out, please let me know so I can put it on my page. It'd be great. And I can also use it. But yeah, keep me in prayer too, because my book is currently in editing format right now. And, I hope that it'll be done. I'm praying that I can have it out sometime in December. If I don't get it out November, I'm hoping I can get it out sometime in December. If not, I'm aiming. I would love to do it in November. That'd be great, way before Christmas. But if not, it may be like right before Christmas or something. But y'all pray for me for that. And I'll be praying for you guys too, and constantly praying that God will completely unveil us from those curses of Adam and Eve, because that's really what our issues are. All of us, believe me, when I detail that stuff, it's deep how it works. And I will be working on not right now, initially the first book is literally just a book that you read. But initially, right after that, I will be doing a study guide for you guys to help y'all walk us through the mind thing, because it's definitely a doozy with our heads. Seriously, all of us have been affected by this. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Sheila. I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Please keep me in prayer. Please keep covering me. And as I move forward to even post these words that God gave me, and I know that they're from God, and they're exposing so much stuff. God is not happy about things, but at the same time, it's a picture of God that, I'm blessed to see, and it's just beautiful. That's all I can say. It's the judgment of God, most definitely. I get all that, but he also wants to let the world know that he's a loving God that loves us so much. And when it comes down to even what's happening in the book of Revelation, he's not just trying to be hateful towards people in the least bit. It's the mindsets. It's just the rejection. It's just those mindsets are literally pre-programmed to reject him. And so that's what the process of life is about, getting us away from those mindsets, so that we can see the beauty of him and the beauty of ourselves. Even the lack of self-esteem comes with these mindsets. This stuff is deep when you really break it down. So anyway, I love y'all. Thank you so much again, Sheila. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful and blessed day. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye. Good night.